process, and finally, you had to create plans, you had to drop where's the funding going to come from, find those resources, and here we are today.
This project is being funded by Measure A. Along the process, residents can expect some road closures.
The road being marked off, and occasional closures, temporary closures, short term, when they move sand from one side of the street to the other.
Palm Springs Mayor Ron DeHart says the goal for over a decade has been to improve visibility and minimize sand accumulation. This all to help motorists taking their everyday commute.
We're going to have fewer closures as long as Mother Nature works on our side and continues to do what she has been doing. But this will help protect the amount of drift sand that's coming onto Gene Autry.
And everyday drivers like Connie Duffy are ready to benefit from the end result.
That's a great idea to keep the highways safe, keep the roads safe.
According to the city's principal engineer, this over $2 million project is said to take about 120 days to complete. Live in Palm Springs, I'm Tiani Jadaling, NBC Palm Springs.
Tiani, thank you. Let's take a live look outside from our Agua Caliente casino camera. Looking a little hazy towards the pass there, but that project will be important for those roads that close frequently as we check in with our Chloe Carlson, especially as the winds pick up in the evening time. It's been like that all week.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's been so exhausting with those road closures. When we first moved here, Chris was continually having to take a detour to get up to the high desert because it's always closing. So this is very exciting. And yes, during the times when we are seeing those wind gusts pick up, which is the case as we get into the afternoon, evening hours this week for those wind prone areas. So North Palm Springs, I think you saw Tiani outside right now. Yeah, definitely a little gusty where she is at as well. And that's what kind of we are expecting for this week. No wind advisory level winds, but still some strong breezes out there for those wind prone areas. So that is going to continue for us into the rest of the work week for Whitewater, for Desert Hot Springs. So those winds 20 miles per hour, those gusts will be in the 30s. And like I said, that is in the afternoon and evening hours. Gets a little bit on Saturday, a little bit better on Saturday for Desert Hot Springs. Pretty consistent for Whitewater with those strong breezes through the weekend. Outside right now, so 104 in downtown Palm Springs at the airport. Slightly warmer than yesterday, and that's a trend that will continue. As far as our evening stroll, our patio forecast this evening, we're still in the 90s through 9 o'clock. Tonight we'll be in the 80s through 1 a.m. in the morning. So that warming trend is starting now. Again, we'll continue to see those temperatures warm. We're seasonal today. We'll get above average as we get to later this week. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 3-day forecast. 107 Thursday. Again, temperatures just below 110 degrees. Friday and Saturday, that will change, though, as we get into early next week. We'll break down more you can expect in that full forecast coming up.
Chloe, thank you. More local news tonight. A new California traffic law is in full effect. It limits the use of cell phones when behind the wheel to help limit distracted driving crashes. Our Brett Rosen has more on what drivers need to know.
Now, as of this month, there's now a new no-touch phone law in the state of California. If an officer finds that you're looking at your phone or touching it while you're behind the wheel, it can result in hundreds of dollars in fines. However, at the worst of it, you could cost someone's life. Law enforcement officials say the moment you're behind the wheel, you're not just responsible for yourself, but you're also responsible for others you are sharing the road with. Four-year traffic officer Russell Petticord says he's seen it time and time again, how even 1 second you're distracted could change your life forever.
One in particular, traveling even 20 to 30 miles per hour, they admitted to using their cell phone. They ended up kind of swerving out of the lane and hitting a curb, striking a curb, and then ultimately into a building.
The no-touch phone law was in full effect in the beginning of June. The law not just for those texting while driving, but even if you're holding it behind the wheel, regardless if it's for navigation purposes or music, you can be stopped and receive a ticket.
I'm going to issue a ticket though, okay, a citation.
According to Officer Petticord, this new law will enforce stricter rules. However, he says when they make stops, it's not just about enforcing the law. It's about education as well.
A lot of times people, when we contact them, they deny being on their phone or like texting or making a phone call. Whereas this is even holding your phone, you're, potentially going at an unsafe speed for the conditions. Being on your phone, you're distracted. We enjoy making contact with people. Every contact, we're able to educate people on the safety aspects of it.
According to the latest statistics from the California Office of Traffic Safety, In 2022, 148 people were killed in an incident involving a distracted driver. And in 2024, a survey found over 73% of Californians identified distracted driving as anyone using their cell phone. Some locals say they've heard about this new no phone law, and they're hoping it will limit the cause of roadside accidents and deaths.
I think it's great. You know, we shouldn't be on our phones. They're a huge distraction.
Decreasing, distracted driving will be very helpful in preventing accidents.
The way cars are now, with Bluetooth and CarPlay, Officer Petticourt says there's no reason you should ever need to touch your phone when on the road.
Use hands-free. You can talk through the speakers of within your car.
Now, as you heard, it only takes a matter of seconds to have your life changed or someone else's when you're using a phone or distracted when you're behind the wheel. It's just better to follow the rules of the road, one of those being the no-touch phone rule. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Brett Rosen.
Our thanks to Brett Knife for those tips. We appreciate that. An elderly man had to be rescued by helicopter earlier today after suffering minor injuries in a canyon area near Mecca. This happened around 1 p.m. at Painted Canyon and Box Canyon roads. Firefighters hoisted that man out. They flew him to the Thermal Airport for a medical evaluation. Authorities cleared the scene within an hour, but the victim's name and exact injuries have not been released. The Trump administration says California schools are violating Title IX by allowing transgender students to compete in school sports. The Department of Education is calling on California to voluntarily change what it deems unlawful practices and says if it doesn't happen within 10 days, federal officials will enforce the changes themselves. Education Secretary Linda McMahon says that her department has found California was violating Title IX protections as recently as a few weeks ago. California's current education code allows students to participate in school programs based on their gender identity, regardless of the gender listed on a student's record.
As ICE continues to arrest undocumented immigrants, some community members are experiencing intense emotional and mental strain. Our Thalia Hayden spoke with a mental health expert about different ways to cope.
There's no denying that people are mentally and emotionally struggling because of ICE raids and threats of being deported. Lots of people in our community are feeling targeted and scared. So here to offer some useful tools and suggestions on how to cope with that extreme stress, anxiety, and fear is CEO of Maple Counseling, Verena Blyle. Can you tell us some of the signs that our viewers may look out for if they might be experiencing trauma?
It would arise as hypervigilance, trouble sleeping, sort of constantly looking around. Just some examples. Increased anxiety can actually manifest in the body. It might show up as, especially if it's unprocessed or unnamed, it could be headaches, it could be back pain. Oftentimes it is repressed feelings of anger and grief.
And some in our Hispanic community here in the desert, they're holding it together for their families.
Here's something helpful to say, like, just tell yourself, look, I'm carrying a lot, and it makes sense that I'd be exhausted and overwhelmed. I am not failing. I'm just being human, and this is a hard moment.
For anyone listening who does feel overwhelmed or scared or hopeless, what would you say to them right now?
The biggest one is just you are not alone. And don't forget to breathe. Seek connection with others. Remember that you matter. And then remember that you're allowed to rest.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Thalia Hayden.
The Trump administration is planning to fast-track the deportation of potentially hundreds of thousands of migrants here in the United States. According to two sources, the administration would dismiss the migrants' asylum claims and then move them to immediately deport them. The people impacted are those who entered the United States unlawfully and later applied for asylum. They would be removed without a hearing before an immigration judge.
The U.S. military is expected to announce 2 new military zones along the southern border this week. That's according to 3 U.S. officials. The zones are called National Defense Areas. One will be attached to Joint Base San Antonio in Texas to include roughly 250 miles of the Rio Grande River. The other zone will be attached to Marine Corps Air Station Yuma in Arizona. That will extend more than 100 miles along the border. The zones are considered extensions of military installations, so that will allow troops to temporarily detain migrants there before handing them off to law enforcement. Coming up next here on NBC Palm Springs, after more than 30 years, Palm Springs Unified School District Superintendent Dr. Tony Signore ready to retire. We have more on his journey and what's next coming up after the break.
Also, Walmart giving local business owners a shot at some of their nationwide shelves. How you can pitch your U.S.-made products. That's ahead.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Welcome back. After more than 3 decades in education, Palm Springs Unified School District Superintendent Dr. Tony Signore is getting ready to retire.
Tonight, community contributor Marin Bichot sat down with the doctor as he reflected on his journey and what comes next.
Dr. Tony Signore has worn a lot of hats over the years, but through it all, his focus has stayed the same, helping kids. Now, as he gets ready to retire, he's taking a moment to look back. Dr. Tony Signore never set out to be a superintendent. He once considered being a dentist or even a pro soccer player. But wanting to help kids and his community ended up shaping his career.
That desire that was always and remains at the core of everything I've done throughout my life, even my personal life, is trying to help kids, trying to help the community, has led to being where I am today.
From a bilingual teacher at Agua Caliente Elementary to the first Latino superintendent at Palm Springs Unified, Dr. Signore's career has always been about one thing.
I just really wanted to be able to give back. That is as simple as that. I really have wanted to help others. I really believe in people. I really care about people.
In 35 years, he took every chance to do more, moving into roles like principal, HR director, and now superintendent.
What I'll miss the most is being a part of the team, being able to come up with new, innovative ideas, being able to inspire others.
As superintendent, he made it a point to highlight the great work happening throughout the district. He visited more than 950 classrooms. He's especially proud of programs like Adopt the Arts, Do the Right Thing, and the Bond to Modernize Schools.
Really, I wanted to put a spotlight on what everybody else is doing.
But he says it's never about one person. It's about turning the dial together.
You don't have to do it all at once. But if we all turn the dial little by little, eventually you're gonna get there.
As for what's next, it's a little less about meetings and a whole lot more about family.
My immediate goal this summer, to play golf with my 13-year-old and teach my 3-year-old how to swim. Those are my 2 top priorities.
He says no matter what comes next, Palm Springs Unified will always hold a special place in his heart.
This community, PSUSD family, has done so much for me, so much more than I could possibly ever give back.
Dr. Signoret's last day is Monday. PSUSD's new superintendent, Dr. Marcus Funches, will start the following day on July 1st. For NBC Palm Springs, I'm Marian Bouchot.
Our thanks to Marian for that. 20 Coachella Valley College students have been awarded more than $90,000 in scholarships through Modernism Week's annual scholarship program, partnering with One Future Coachella Valley, which contributed over $22,000. The program supports students pursuing careers in architecture and design. Since 2011, the program has awarded more than $400,000 funded by community events and donations, aiding charities like LA Fire Relief Fund. Upcoming Modernism Week events are scheduled for October 16th to the 19th, and also next year, February 12th to the 22nd.
Palm Springs International Airport has earned an A rating from S&P Global. The rating is an indicator of financial health. It reflects PSP's ability to fund key projects like terminal upgrades and expanded international services without relying on local taxes. Key strengths include record passenger levels, strong debt management, and experienced leadership. Airport staff says the facility is positioned to advance infrastructure improvements and support regional growth.
Walmart is opening doors for local entrepreneurs, giving Palm Springs area businesses a shot at getting their products on shelves nationwide. Applications for Walmart's 2025 open call are now live, and businesses have until July 25th to apply. It's a chance to pitch products made, grown, or assembled here in this country directly to Walmart and Sam's Club's buyers. Past winners from California have gone from startups to store shelves in months. And this year, tech innovators in manufacturing can apply as well.
Let's take you outside for a live look from our Indian Wells Golf Resort camera. Hot temperatures to end your work week. Chloe Carlson's tracking your 7-day forecast right after the break.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
And happy Wednesday, everyone. Welcome back. Right now, we're taking a live look at the Walter Clark Highway 11 cam in Rancho Mirage. Yet again, clear blue skies out there today. Not a cloud in sight is the case for most of Southern California today. We've been pretty dry with that ridge of high pressure, so that'll stay true for the rest of the week. 104 for the high today, so like we said, right around seasonal for this time of year. Normally for us, we are 106 as we wrap up June, but crazy enough, really is not what we normally see. I feel like we were always in the 120s. Back in 2017, a record-breaking number was 122, as last year when we were in the 120s as well. At this hour, 101 on the Southeast End in Indio, 102 for Thousand Palms up in the high desert, 90 there up in Yucca Valley, 72 for Big Bear. Overnight tonight, we will be in the 70s here for the desert floor. Pretty consistent with those overnight conditions. As far as dew points, relative humidity will say less than 5%, so very dry conditions for us for the rest of the weekend into the weekend. As far as Thursday, more of the same of what we saw today. So copy and paste today's conditions into tomorrow. Will be right around seasonal for this time of year. Breezy conditions, a little bit gusty for those wind-prone areas for our Thursday. Friday, temperature slightly warm, a little bit from what we saw today and tomorrow. Then as we get into Saturday, we have this ridge of high pressure looking to build over the entire southwest. It'll really start to ramp up those temperatures, 107 to 111 on a Saturday. Monday, temperatures looking to be peaking for us here in Southern California. 113 for Palm Springs, 113 also in Cathedral City, 114 for Rancho Mirage and Palm Desert. Next Tuesday, there's a chance of some of that monsoonal moisture moving into Southern California by late next week. That could bring a little bit of moisture to us here in Southern California. So for July 4th, looking to be 93 degrees as we celebrate the holiday. Here's a look at your Comfort Air 7-day forecast. So seasonal really through tomorrow. We're looking at temperatures peaking, like I said, next Monday at 113.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is the NBC Palm Springs Sports Desk with Tim O'Brien. Brought to you by Agua Caliente Casinos.
Well, welcome back. News this afternoon out of the Thermal Club. After just 2 years, the IndyCar Series will not return in 2026. The first year was an exhibition, followed by a true points race just this past March. The 3-mile track has become a hot spot in the East Valley the last few years. The club will look for a new title sponsor for 2027. And each month at the Indian Wells Golf Resort, we showcase a hole on one of their 2 championship courses. Here's the latest with the director of golf, Joe Williams.
So we just finished up 18 on the celebrity course here at the Indian Wells Golf Resort. Joe Williams, the director of golf here. A par and a bogey, we'll take that.
Absolutely. Hit a good tee shot with a hybrid off the tee box, a wedge to the green, just couldn't convert the putt. So, you know what, happy to get out here with you. It is heating up, so let's get back to our golf carts and hop in one of those Mr. Carts.
For this course itself, you've mentioned smart ball control, of course. You didn't use your driver off the deck. It's something I was like, well, I wonder why he's not doing it. You don't necessarily need to when you can put it where you put it.
Yeah, the hole wasn't extremely long, so I wanted a decent approach from the fairway, hit a hybrid about 225 yards down the middle, and left myself a nice 130-yard approach, which is kind of what you want to do. Give yourself a full shot to the green from a decent distance, and I had a birdie look, just didn't convert it.
That's why he's the director of golf here. It's why he's the pro. You can catch all of our episodes of Signature Hole on our website. You can find the Signature Hole tab on NBCPalmSprings.com.
Well, Indian Wells Golf Resort in the middle of their latest renovation on the Players Course, which is set to reopen in October. That'll do it in sports. I'm Tim O'Brien.
They say dogs are a man's best friend, but at NBC Palm Springs, we're a dog's best choice for news. Apologies to our competitors, but even your dogs know who leads the pack in news.
Night after night, discover the unique stories that set our valley apart. Together, we're going to find inspiration and foster connections that strengthen the fabric of our community.
Babies are experts at paying attention to only what is genuinely fascinating, and we couldn't agree more.
Before we go, this is pretty cool. It's a new species of dinosaur. It's been discovered. Researchers are calling it Enigmacursor mollyborthwickae, named after Molly Borthwick, who was a sponsor who helped with all of this. It's a dog-sized creature that roamed around 150 million years ago with Stegosaurus and Diplodocus, according to a study published in the Royal Society Open Science Journal. The dino was about the size as a Labrador retriever with a very long tail. It was a strong runner, had some big feet, was also a plant eater. The skeleton is now on display at London's Natural History Museum.
Could have been a pet if it was still here.
Probably a prehistoric pet.
Right?
Cute stuff. All right, that's going to do it for us. Nightly News is next, and we're back here tonight in 30 minutes with the latest local headlines. We'll see you then.